welcome. My name's Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and this is the weekly forecast for week commencing May 29th, 2023. Each week I like to take the deck, my deck, the Mythic Tarot, pull some cards for the week, and then give some guidance and interpretation about the energy and what to expect this week. Okay, so let's have a look at the roundup of the week. So we started off with the Six of Wands, saying this is what I can do. I feel like this is about us acknowledging what we can do. It's about getting out all of your qualifications, all the things that you have, and saying, you know what, I'm actually capable of doing these things. It's not about something that you like to do or something that you've half finished. And when it comes to, of course, work, career, business and moving forward, that's a great option for putting it to there. But when we're looking at, say, health, then it's acknowledging how like health-wise, this is what I'm capable of, this is what I can't do, this is what I can do, this is what I actually have. No consideration is to be given to things that we think we might have. So it's about working within the limitations of what we do have. When it comes to relationships, and again, it's about those relationships that have substance. So it could be a marriage certificate, it could be a relationship where there is actually commitment made, and so it's acknowledging the relationship. It's not a time for trying to work relationships in that have no actual commitment to them. So if we're starting the week with commitment in relationships, and the rest of the week is then acknowledging those committed relationships, and I'll talk about the rest of it. But and when it comes to things like what else we've got the spiritual side of things. Well, it's okay. That's acknowledging what you actually are capable of doing, or what it is that you are truly connected to when it comes to the spiritual self. So the rest of the week, we're looking at things like, of course, the Ace makes us think, right, I want to do this, because acknowledging who we are and what we actually have that we can tangibly connect to gives us motivation to say, well, I actually want to do something with this. It reconnects us to that tangible thing. Wednesday gives us pause to think, you know what, okay, well, rather than racing off and then, well, I'm going to do it, like, you know, whether the mind goes, oh, it gives us pause, but it doesn't allow us to go backwards, because the Death card shuts the door. So once we acknowledge what's possible and how we'd like to move forward, because the Ace makes the pathway clear, then we can't go back. It means that we have accepted within ourselves that, you know what, I am this person. This is a committed relationship. I'd like to do this for my business and my career. And so therefore it shuts the door so that we can't second guess ourselves, if you like, but it gives us pause to make any considerations and repairs to our state of mind and ourself, and to get used to it before the door opens, which it does on Thursday. Like the sun turns up. It's a beautiful analogy of everything is going to turn out fine, as in, well, it's going to turn out, it's going to land beautifully in the best way possible, not what you think it's going to be. And again, remember, the pause gives us time for pause, but the sun says it sort of cements within ourselves that thing that says, it gives us confidence, but it also gives us certainty and assurity that we can do this, even though we can't see the end result. It gives us the feeling that of the end result, of that, that we're actually very, very confident about the direction we're heading in. Now we have the Hanged Man turning up, then it says, you know what? Pause again. What is it to achieve this? Because this is what we really want, and we can feel it in our. If the Hanged Man had turned up before the sun, there'd be sort of but because we've got the sun sitting there saying, this is good, then the Hanged Man must come in and acknowledge the things in order to achieve that, because we've already put it in our soul to accept that these are the sacrifices we're going to make to achieve that. And it's going to pause things long enough, or hold things up long enough, and not move things forward until we either acknowledge the sacrifices and let them happen in their own time, or until those sacrifices are made. So don't forget, everything's working for our greater good. Nothing is about that you have to give up something that you don't want to. No one's asking you to do that. It is letting you know to acknowledge what is going to go by the by, because once you acknowledge it, Spirit takes care of the rest. We don't have to do anything. We just be. Now that next day, of course, is about acknowledging within ourselves the confidence that we are no longer sitting on the sidelines. We are no longer the apprentice. We are the master of ourselves within our relationships, within our career, within our health. We now own it. It's asking us to step up and own it. No more are we hanging back in the background. And then finally, at the end, the Queen comes in to say, right, thanks, I'm going to take it over from here. You've acknowledged all of these things. Now I'm going to come in objectively and let's cut those things away. Let's move them away. And it's about our good, our greater good, not the greater good of everybody, but our greater good. We must live it first in order then to share it. So we must be okay with it, and then we can share it. So the first card for May the 29th, 2023 is Six of Wands. Okay, Six of Wands represents displaying our true selves. It's displaying and saying, this is who I am. It is all about the physical aspect, it's not about self-esteem, it's not about self-worth. It is actually saying, look, I can actually do this and I can prove that I can do this. So it's really about acknowledging what skills we have and how we can utilize them moving forward. It's not about just very vague things. These are very specific things. For example, I can prove that I can read the tarot. So that is my Six of Wands moment, because I can pull it out and say, here we go. I can prove that I'm a Reiki master. Here's my certificate that says I'm a Reiki master teacher. So those are the things that I'm talking about, acknowledging the things that we actually have a skill and a talent for that we can show. So Monday is all about digging that out, not only acknowledging it to the world, but also to ourselves, first to ourselves and then to the world. So it's about being upfront about who we are. Okay, let's put that back on the deck. So the next card we're looking at is for Tuesday, the 30th of May, 2023. Pull a card out. Oh, we have the Ace of Wands. Oh, there we go. So the Ace of Wands represents the beginning. Of course, Ace is number one, beginning of the journey. So once we have acknowledged what we can do, the pathway is open. Again, I want to go on about last week. The last card was the Eight of Wands, about the freedom to choose the direction we want to head in. Tuesday means that now we have a pathway forward, because once we pull out those pieces of paper and those things that say, or acknowledge our skills, our definite skills, once we acknowledge that to ourselves and say, oh, this is actually what I do, it gives us a clear direction about how to move forward. But not only that, it's a clear pathway of how to move forward as well. So in other words, we are motivated to do that. So there's no more reasons why we can't actually step. When you're ready, and if you're ready, Tuesday is a perfect day to begin that next part, as long as you're using the skills that you have rather than trying to work with something that you're not actually proficient with. Okay, we'll put that back in the deck. Let's have a look for Wednesday, May the 31st, end of the month, 2023. Pull a card. Exciting. Here we have the Death card. Interesting that the Death card would come out directly after that motivation or moving forward. So Wednesday is a stop. Wednesday is okay. Let's regroup. The Death card is a limbo. So in other words, once we identify the direction we want to head in, the Ace of Wands does not give us the resources and things that we need. So we identify where we're heading. We're inspired to say, right, now I know exactly what I need to do. Wednesday gives us pause so that we can make considered efforts to consideration to move forward. What is it that we need? Now there's not a lot of energy, motivation, or moving forward energy with the Death card. So it is a time of pause. Allowing us a breath to take so that we're not racing off. It gives us time to consider. So I would look at the death card as a time to clear out the old, so to make way for the new. It is a transformative card. In other words, once we understand from the ace that this is where we'd like to go, we have that motivation, that door to the past shuts, but the next one hasn't opened. So the death card gives us time to clear out anything that needs to be cleared out. It gives us time to fix and repair things, but it also gives us time to take stock, because there is no moving forward energy with the death card. It's an odd card to turn up after a big motivational push, but it's necessary to take a pause so that we don't go racing off and let our mind race off and decide, oh, we can do, I know, again, my mind goes, blah, blah, blah. Once my inspiration kicks in. It's a really important message about standing still, taking a breath, and really observing. Because there's no energy, there's no movement with the death card. Okay, back on the deck. So let's have a look now for Thursday, June the 1st, 2023. I've shuffled the deck. Let's pull the next card out. Here we have the Sun. How perfect is that? How perfect after the death card to have the Sun card. I'd like you to understand. Now, just because I'm pulling these cards out doesn't mean to say it's going to all happen bang, bang, bang. But the energy is there to access. So the energy on Wednesday, you have access to a pause moment. And on Thursday, we have access to what's actually possible. Not what's possible, what we can achieve. The Sun card says, you know what? I can actually do this. So from the energy burst of the Ace of Wands on Tuesday, pause, give us time to just take a breath. It means that we can actually see where we're going. These days they seem quite fast, but you can spread it out over a month. It doesn't have to happen, but the energy is available to tap into what that is. So if you're not really feeling motivated or not in the right place to get that going, write your plans down, because those days are the days that we have absolutely clear vision. So especially Thursday. Thursday means, you know what? It brings in all the confidence, and it's like that assurance that we know. It's like, I can do anything here, because the sun has shone a light and made it possible for me. And so it gives us the confidence to step into it. It's not just inspiration, it's confidence that we can actually do this. So you can see how our confidence is building, and how the energy of the week is giving us time to make those decisions, and we're not racing off doing something without some sort of consideration. Okay, back in the deck. So let's have a look now for Friday, the 1st of June, 2023. Pulling a card from the deck, and we have the Hanged Man. So here we have another pause. So the Hanged Man is another pause, but this is a different pause. This is a pause where there is, we have the Sun, which says confidence about how we can step forward. But this pause, the Hanged Man requires us to stop and understand what we are surrendering or giving up in order to move forward. The Hanged Man requires sacrifice. Now the Hanged Man is not like a poor me or a negative card. It is a realistic card that if we would like to achieve, and we can see what's going to make us happy, what is it that we need to surrender in order to step into that? And it's about being okay with that. It's about acknowledging it. No grieving just yet, but it's just acknowledging that this is what we have to sacrifice. Again, because if we race off and go do all these things without acknowledging that there are some things or even people that are going to be left behind, it's best to deal with it now, or accept it now, or understand it now, rather than down the track, which is going to tip us over. So this gives us time to pause and acknowledge what it is that we are going to surrender in order to achieve that certainty and that goal that we're heading towards this week. It's not stop-start, people. It is very much considered. In other words, soul, universe, spirit. It is setting us up to succeed. So it's giving us inspiration, pause, goal, pause, And these are the things to consider for us to be successful. Tells me that there is success and openness coming along the way. Okay, let's have a look at for Saturday, June the 3rd, 2023. I've just pulled a card. Eight of Pentacles. Fabulous. So once we've acknowledged and accepted what we're going to be giving up and leaving behind, again, there's no push to do this today. It's just acknowledging that. The Eight of Pentacles then says, okay, let's take it from, this is, I know I've got this, remember Monday was the 6th, and saying I have all these skills and qualifications and I can show it. Saturday is all about brushing them up and now taking ourselves seriously. So in order, it's okay to say, hey, look, I can do this, and I know exactly where to take it, and I know what I'm going to give up to get there, and I'm okay with that. What do we do now? We must acknowledge within ourselves that we are skilled enough and good enough. So it's taking ourselves out of the apprentice stage and into a skilled or master stage. So in other words, we are mastering what it is and acknowledging that we are actually experts in the field or how we want to move forward. Now, I'm sort of framing this around work and everything, but as I said, I've said before, it can be around anything, any of that, and I'll cover that in the roundup. So remember, Saturday is about brushing up our skills and actually acknowledging, taking us out of the apprenticeship stage and into full mastery stage. Okay, back in the deck. So let's have a look now for Sunday, June the 4th, 2023. Oh, get a bit more of a shuffle. Oh, here we are. Queen of Swords, lovely. Okay, so Queen of Swords. She represents the aspect of us that she's a great, the first word I'm getting is teacher. So she's a great teacher, she's a great leader. But if we look at her, I'll put it back on the deck. If we look at the card of the Queen of Swords, she is very much about like cutting through anything emotional, cutting through anything that needs, basically cutting away the excess. And she's very direct and very blunt about it. So we are going to be extremely honest with ourselves and extremely almost brutal, if you in a way. Very, I want to say, the word keeps coming, cutthroat also too. So let's round her out. That part of ourselves. For me, when a queen turns up in a spread, it means it's about us rather than the rest of the world. So we're still working on ourselves and still moving within ourselves, but we are going to that point where we're ready to say, right, we understand the sacrifice. The queen now brings in the capacity to cut those things out of our lives. So in other words, we get into the mind space, emotion space, and physicality as well as spiritual, all those aspects of ourselves, to be able to distance ourselves and move that out of it for our good, not the greater good, but for our good. Cut away those bits that we don't need in order to move forward. So this rounds the week out nicely in that we acknowledge what it is that we're able to do. And she allows us, because we've identified it, she allows us then to make those shifts and changes, but she cuts because she is a sword. She cuts it away. It's not, there's nothing gentle about it. It's not brutal. It's honest. She's also, as I said, the teacher. So in other words, we are moving forward in a role where we are not only the master of the field that we are good at, like that we are acknowledging, but we're also going to pass that knowledge on eventually. Okay, so that's for Sunday, May the 3rd, 2023. So anyway, that is the roundup for the week commencing May 29th, 2023. My name's Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and stay tuned for, I'll pass on to you Wednesday, soul coaching, spiritual coaching, and the next one is Friday, healing. But otherwise, have a great week, and I'll see you next week or Wednesday or Friday. Bye. See you guys next week with love from me. Mwah.